He's 22. He's done firefighting for basically most of his adult years, wildland firefighter, which he's done for the last couple seasons. So you already have that work ethic. You already have that endurance, that durability to do the work. You already know what it's like to rely on your brother, to know what it's like to work with other people on the outdoors. You know what I mean? In weather conditions. You're doing wildland firefighting. That's in the summertime when it's blazing hot in California. Not to mention all the smoke and the flames and everything else that comes with wildland firefighter. I mean, you already have those skills, those traits that an apprentice needs. Hello, welcome back to episode 25 of CTQ. CTQ is a segment I do on the channel called Cruise the Questions. This is where I take your guys' questions and I answer them here on the channel to help you guys on your guys' career pathways, your career journeys. If you're wanting to get started in a blue collar career or you're looking for a career change, whatever the case may be, blue collar related questions, go ahead and ask them. You can submit your questions a few different ways. The best way is email them to austin@bluecollaredu.com. Another good way is if you just go to the website at bluecollaredu.com. In the top right corner, there'll be a contact page where you can put in your question there and it'll automatically send it to me. Put them in the comments below in this video or DM me on any one of the social media platforms. So without all that being said, I don't have all the answers, but I can find or get most answers, right? Like I'm a lineman by trade. I've been in the lineman trade since 2017, been a journeyman since 2020. So, I mean, yeah, that's my trade and that's what I know. But when it comes to a lot of the other trades, I'm familiar, but not a professional. But you guys' questions, I can get the answers. I have a pretty good network of people in my contact list that I can ask that are professionals in a lot of respected trades. So with all that being said, today's questions regarding firefighters out there who are looking to do a career change. So if you're a firefighter and you're looking to do a career change into the lineman field, this episode is for you, but this episode is for anyone, of course, who wants to start in the lineman trade and just hear more of my insight or my perspective from my experience on what may or may not help you or the different path you should take or what you should do from what I know. I know you guys love making fun of my microphone setup. So for this, I'm using one of a homemade knife that my dad made, just a kitchen knife. Pretty cool looking knife. Hopefully YouTube doesn't censor or ban this video because I'm showing a knife that my dad made. Comment down below if you guys would buy one of these knives. This is pretty cool. It's just a kitchen knife. I like it, but it's my microphone setup for today, which is this knife. So let's get into the questions. All right, question number one is coming from a guy named Cody. Hey Austin, my name's Cody. I retired from the fire department after I got hurt, and now I'm looking for a career change. After I retired, I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree in construction management. I've built houses and worked on in the fire department, but that's basically my background. My other dream was to become a lineman for PGE. I have my Class A permit now, but I'm 33 years old and hear many horror stories of people failing out and wasting 4 years. I really want to make that leap of faith, but I wanted your advice. With my background, would I be a good candidate for becoming a lineman? I think this is a pretty easy question for me to answer. And are you a good candidate? I think yes. Most people who work in the fire department or do wildland firefighting, anything like that, you guys know what it's like to work long hours. You guys know what it's like to physically put your body through endurance and just do the work, right? And that's the most important part about being an apprentice in the lineman trade and really any trade is just having that work ethic and having the respect for the kind of work that you do. And as firefighters, hello?
What are you doing?
Recording a video right now. So being part of the fire department or being part of that industry, you know what it's like, the camaraderie, working with other guys, relying on your brethren you're working with, that sort of brotherhood and a lot of the aspects about the firefighter industry basically directly translate into how it kind of is in the lineman trade as well. So basically, with your experience and your background already, I think you would be a good candidate. Between that and working building houses, I mean, that's blue collar stuff. So you definitely understand work ethic and having probably a common sense, basic understanding of what it's like to work in the blue collar field already, which already is going to work in your advantage. Your dream was to become a lineman for PGE. I don't know if you mean Portland General Electric or PG&E, which is Pacific Gas and Electric. If you're talking about PGE, Portland General Electric, I think there's opportunity there, especially at PGE or even on the outside. There's a lot of contractor work on PGE property. That's where I come from. I did majority of my apprenticeship on Portland General Electric property. So, I mean, it's definitely doable to if you want to work for the utility, if you want to work for PGE. I think you'd make a good candidate. You got your Class A permit. Make sure you get that Class A, the CDL, the commercial driver's license itself, with no auto restrictions. And then if you wanted to maybe invest a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of money getting your OSHA 10 card, maybe first aid CPR, flagging certificate. Those, if you go to skillcatapp.com or download the Skillcat app, you can use Blue Collar 10 discount code to save a few bucks and go get that training on the app, especially the OSHA and things like that. But from my advice to you is that I think you just take that leap of faith. You know what I mean? Like I haven't necessarily heard those horror stories of people failing out and wasting 4 years. The only way I've heard people failing out of the apprenticeship, the lineman apprenticeship, is getting a DUI or getting themselves into trouble some way, shape, or form where they lose their license or they go to jail for whatever reason. There's people get into stuff, but if you just stay out of that stuff, I mean, if you think you can confidently pass the book work and then do the physical labor of the job, I don't know what kind of injury you got in the fire department and that's why you retired. I'm not sure if that injury is going to affect your ability to perform the work in the lineman trade. That's up to you to decide if you think you're able to do the physical labor or the physical work that needs to be done, and you can do the academic part of the apprenticeship, the book work, the more technical side, the quizzes, the tests, the homework, that sorts of stuff. Then, I mean, 100%, man. I think you just go for it. I think that you probably have what it takes. You're 33. If you watch one of my previous videos about my buddy Nick, who's 33, he just got into it. I can't think that you're no worse or any better than Nick is. He's the same age. And if Nick's able to do it, then I think you're able to do it. I don't really think that age limit has that restricting factor on somebody. Just comes down to is, can you do the physical labor that the job requires? And can you do the book work, the technical side of the trade that is going to be involved with the apprenticeship classes? So if you think you can do those things, then take the leap of faith and just go ahead and apply and just at least start the process. The worst, not the worst case scenario, but the thing about it is maybe you get into it and you realize, hey, actually, I don't want to do this. Well, you can always quit, right? You can always go back to doing whatever you're doing. This isn't some commitment where you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars like going to a university and coming out of debt. This is just putting yourself in the position to apply, go through the application process, and then maybe get hired on and get into an apprenticeship and then go through it and just jump through the hoops and just basically commit yourself to doing the apprenticeship. So that's my advice to you, Cody. I have 100% faith in you. I mean, I think I don't know. I think you take that leap of faith and you go do it. All right, let's hop into question number 2. This is coming from another firefighter. He says, "Hello, Austin. I'm Daniel. I've been watching your videos on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm a firefighter at the moment looking to get into the lineman trade. I have my CDL, flagging cert, my first aid or EMT. I have not been to lineman school, but I'm thinking about doing on in the winter to make myself a better candidate. Which lineman school would you recommend, if any? I know you talk about work experience for certs. In your experience, would you say leave fire and do lineman school or apply and continue with fire until getting an apprenticeship? I will put my resume below to do more of my experience. Thank you." All right, so you already have the certifications you need. I would just apply. I know you live in California, Southern California, because I looked at your resume that you sent me, and but he says he's down to move. He wants to go to the Pacific Northwest. So apply for the Northwest Lineman Apprenticeship and just do it. If I was going to recommend a lineman school, there's really only maybe 2 of them. One of them being Volta, which is up there in the Northwest in Warrenton, Oregon, or the other one is Primeline Academy in Southern Idaho or Northern Utah. But those are really 2 that I could recommend that I know that they produce pretty good students, right? So if I was going to recommend any, those would probably be 2 of them. But even in your position with already, I was looking at his resume. He's got a pretty good resume. He's 22. He's done firefighting for basically most of his adult years, wildland firefighter, which he's done for the last couple seasons. So you already have that work ethic. You already have that endurance, that durability to do the work. Just like I was saying in the previous question, you already know what it's like to rely on your brother, to know what it's like to work with other people on the outdoors. You know what I mean? In weather conditions, you're doing wildland firefighting. That's in the summertime when it's blazing hot in California. Not to mention all the smoke and the flames and everything else that comes with wildland firefighter. I mean, you already have those skills, those traits that an apprentice needs, or you might even have more of it. So I've worked with one, he's a lineman now, but at the time he was a groundman in New Mexico. He come from wild firefighting in California too. And the guy was a stinking workaholic. He could do anything you told him to do. It don't matter if you told him to dig 10 pole holes, he could do it. He was just built. He had the endurance, he had the strength, he had the mentality, he could just do it. So if you're anything like that, then he didn't go to lineman school. He just happened to have the certifications like you have, and he got a groundman job and then applied. He went through the Northwest Lineman Apprenticeship and topped out last year in December, or he topped out in January. So I think that with that experience doing firefighter and already having those certifications, I think you're already a good applicant. I don't necessarily think that I would waste my time and money going to a lineman school, because now with already having your CDL, the only really thing you're going to learn in the lineman school is climbing and obviously the kind of work we do in the trade. But if you want to do that for your own benefit, just because you want to learn more about it and you want to go spend 10 grand to do that, then by all means do it. But I don't think you need to. I think that you get into an apprenticeship and you do your interview, and they'll look at your resume and be like, man, I'm not saying that they're going to look at you as oh, this guy's got it all, let's hire him right away. But you already have a lot of those traits, attributes that we look for in this trade. So you have that. So I don't think it's necessary for you to go to a lineman school. I would just apply, continue doing fire, and just wait for the apprenticeship. I'd apply at Northwest, I'd apply at Mountain States, I'd apply at Swolecat. I would apply with those 3 as soon as I can and just wait for interviews, wait for the aptitude test, and just go through the process and just do it. So that's what I would recommend for you doing, Daniel. And if you get in, hopefully I see you on the RO dub, the right of way. So hopefully you guys can learn from this video. Those 2 questions, young 22-year-old firefighter looking for a career change, 33-year-old firefighter, retired firefighter, construction guy looking for a career change, wanting into the lineman trade. That's what I would recommend. You guys have what it takes. It's just that you have to take that next step forward, which is literally applying, going through the application process and just doing it. It's honestly as simple as that. You guys already have the certifications you need. You already have your commercial driver's license, which is the most important certification to have. So all you got to do is just apply. Go through the application process. And you do your interview and maybe you don't get ranked the best. But the good thing is that you can sit on it for a year. And within that year, if you think it'd be better for you to go to lineman school, then maybe you invest in going to a lineman school. But I think right now, as you guys stand with your experiences, with your certifications, I don't think it's necessary to go to lineman school. Just apply for apprenticeship and take that next step forward. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. With Blue Collar EDU, I'm here to expose, teach, educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities, how to get started in this skilled trade. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys on CTQ episode 26.